This popcorn-style review contains scenes from another video. Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight. Now, I could go on for 10 minutes, probably, maybe even more, about why Revue Starlight fucking sucks. But instead, I'm going to try and, minimize it and just talk about a few key points. See, Revue Starlight starts with a character who once made a promise to an old friend of hers that they would both stand on the same stage and do a play together, and then the friend moves away, but then she comes back to her school, and they're both going to the same performing arts school, and then the main character stumbles her way into a magical, theatrical combat arena overseen by a wish-granting giraffe where they fight in stage combat. And one of my major issues with the show is at no point do they explain or justify the existence of the magical wish-granting giraffe in stage combat. It just kind of happens and you have to take it at face value, which is super annoying. And then there's the stage combat itself. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed the theatrical fights, although they do get significantly worse as the series goes on. But the early ones were actually really entertaining and interesting. The problem is, the show itself doesn't really justify the existence of these fights, because they're used to kind of tell the stories about relationships between the characters and what they're going through and working through their own issues. But the issues these characters are facing are not very interesting or compelling, and so it doesn't warrant such an over-the-top theatrical display. Instead, these displays are actually wasted on this show when they could be used to tell better stories. Now, if my only issues with the show were that they essentially wasted their over-the-top fights and it wasn't engaging or compelling and was incredibly boring, it probably wouldn't have drawn as much ire from me. But my biggest issue with the show is probably that it could have been more interesting, other than the ending, which I don't want to spoil, is that they introduce a character that they kind of set up to be a villain. Because you find out that one of the girls has not only competed in the Revue, which is the stage battles they're fighting in, before, but she's actually competed in the same battle with these same girls countless times and has used her wish from the magic wish-granting giraffe to reset time over and over until both her and the giraffe have actually forgotten how many times they have repeated this same year. And she makes this declaration straight to the camera. She just looks right into the camera that she's not going to let anything change. And you get the idea that's like, oh my god, is something interesting going to happen? We have an actual antagonist and she's resetting time. How are they going to beat her? And the answer is, it doesn't matter, because she loses next episode. Literally, one episode. They introduce this character, they establish her story and her motivation, and then they just discard her. And it just makes her whole character completely pointless. It makes the whole episode you just went through completely pointless, and you just end up leaving the show wondering why the fuck you had to sit through any of that, and what made them feel like this was a story worth telling. Because I don't think Revue Starlight was worth telling, and I feel like what the show did do right and what it did set up right was completely wasted by what the show ended up actually accomplishing by the end of it. So in summation, fucking Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight fucking sucks. I've been Sacrabolic, your envoy of hope, position 0.